Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I am going to explain you about the equipments and when and how to build them to a titan during a match. So this video is specially made for the beginners. This video is the third episode of this series, so if you didn't watch the first and second one, I have given the link in the description, you can check it out. There will be 3 more episodes on this series. So in today's video, I will be explaining the equipments in the magic section. So friends, if you are new to the channel, and don't forget to subscribe and don't miss out the future episodes. So all these things out of the way, let's get right into the video. So the equipments in the magic section only increases your ability power with other stats. So these equipments are mostly used by the mages. Sometimes supports and tanks found these equipments useful. So for the first item we have Boomstick. The Boomstick grants you 200 ability power, 30 mana per 5 seconds and 5% movement speed. Its passive is Explosion. When your skills hit a target, it will trigger a small explosion in a very small area, dealing magic damage to the nearby enemies. Also, it has a cooldown of 5 seconds. Boomstick is very good item for burst damage mages like Vera, Liliana, Natalia and so on. So Boomstick's effectiveness increases with more ability power you have. So make sure to build offensive when you choose Boomstick so that you can make full use of its passive. The Hecate's Datum gives you 240 ability power with a pretty good passive of increasing your ability power a whole lot by 35%. Hecate's Datum is a perfect combo with Boomstick. The mages who build offensive can use the Hecate's Datum at its full potential. Supports can also benefit from it. The ability power from Hecate's Datum makes their heals and shields all more effective. If accompanied by an offensive build, then you can just one-shot any squishies in the late game. The Orb of Magie gives you 140 ability power and 10% cooldown reduction, with a passive that increases your ability power by 12 and max HP by 110 every 30 seconds, which can stack up to 10 times. And another passive which restores your mana and HP over 3 seconds when you gain a new level, which is the passive of the Phoenix Tears, the tier 2 equipment. You can buy that equipment before Orb of the Magi. It is a best early game equipment. The bonus ability power and HP helps you to be more sustained, also good while increasing the damage of your abilities. Especially as the game progresses, you should build Orb of the Magi when you focus on building little tanky according to the opponent's composition. If you just need the restoring mana and HP for new levels, you can just stop with Phoenix Tears and go for other ability power items instead. Ria's Blessing grants 140 ability power and 10% cooldown reduction, with a passive of granting a shield when your HP falls below 40%. This shield lasts for 4 seconds and has a cooldown of 75 seconds. Also, the only equipment in the magic section that gives you 25% magic lifesteal. Yep, it's given that 15%, but it's a mistake. I have checked it, so it's 25% magic lifesteal. Ria's Blessing gives some additional ability to survive in team fights. Ria's Blessing is best for mages who fights very close to the targets in the team fights, like Liliana, Zill and Tulan. Other mages can also benefit by using it as one of their defensive items. The shield it offers can save you from certain situations. Just keep it in mind, both the shield and magic lifesteal increase as your ability power increases. Otherwise, using Ria's Blessing would be a waste. The next equipment is Vihander, which grants 180 ability power, 400 max mana and 8% movement speed with 2 passives. One increases your attack speed by 50% for 4 seconds when your normal attacks hit a target, with a cooldown of 10 seconds. The next passive, which gives your normal attacks some additional magic damage. Mages who are based on normal attacks to deal high damage can use this equipment. Lately, Ignis is doing so much of normal attacks. Also, in jungle, Kira need more attack speed. So this equipment can be used effectively by them. Also, if you build Valheim with magic build, this will be a mandatory equipment. Other magic auto attackers could find this item quite useful as well. The Frosty's Revenge grants you 140 ability power, 850 max HP and 5% movement speed. With a passive, when your skills deals damage to a target, their movement speed is reduced by 20% for 2 seconds. If you find having a hard time hitting your opponent with your abilities and they are able to escape before you finish them off, because of their high mobility, you can buy Frosty's Revenge to keep them in place. Frosty's Revenge is a great item for titans who poke from afar, and with a large AoE abilities like Alice, Azenka and more. Also, it gives you a little sustain as it grants some max HP increase. The Staff of Null gives you 180 ability power and 10% cooldown reduction, with a passive of 40% of magical penetration. This equipment is similar to the Muramasa in the attack section. Staff of Null's percentage based magic pierce is most useful when your opponent stacks multiple magic defense items. But it's not good against titans with low magic defense. Sometimes it's difficult to reach the backline as a mage, so you can deal some damage to the easy targets in the front. It's also obviously very useful against multiple tanks who stacks magic defense items. Berith's Agony grants 120 ability power, 10% cooldown reduction, 30 mana per 5 seconds and 200 armor. With a passive, when your skills hit a target, it deals additional magic damage equal to 2% of the target's current HP, and for wildlings, it is fixed. Berith's Agony is a good item for dealing with enemies who primarily deal high physical damage. It's a nice compromise between full offensive items that leave you vulnerable and fully defense items that makes you feel like you won't deal any damage. Beriths make a perfect pair with anti-heal items as it continuously deals damage and reduces the HP regen a lot. Beriths is also the best equipment against health stackers like Arum, Thane and more. The Evil Secrets gives you 120 ability power and 10% cooldown reduction with 500 max HP, with a unique passive of 150 magic penetration, which is a common equipment used to counter the squishy heroes, who actually has a very low magic defense. If the enemy team has one tank and others are squishies, then you can blindly go for this item. An item similar to Rank Breaker in the attack section. Also, its cooldown reduction and max HP increase comes in handy in a team fight. The next item is Apocalypse, which gives you 160 ability power, 10% cooldown reduction, 30 mana per 5 seconds and 5% movement speed, with a very good passive after using a skill that next normal attack deals additional magic damage with a cooldown of 2 seconds. The similar equipment to Omniarms in the attack section. This equipment is best suited for mage assassins like Zil, Liliana, who can approach their targets with burst damage in order to quickly execute them. This can make their combos more effective against squishy titans. Here is a tip for you friends. So, do you know that Grax S2 is actually an auto attack which deals magic damage? If you build him with ability power including Apocalypse, then use his first ability, and after the passive of Apocalypse activates, hook an enemy, which can deal an enormous amount of damage to the enemies. Tomah Reaper grants 200 ability power, 10% cooldown reduction, 20 mana per 5 seconds and 300 max HP, with a very good passive to counter regeneration titans. On dealing damage, it reduces the target's HP regeneration by 40% for 1.5 seconds. It is given that if triggered by normal attack, the duration is extended by 3 seconds, but it's for the soul detainer. For Tomah Reaper, it should be triggered by your skills. I think it's a mistake. So this equipment can be used as a counter for high regenerative titans like Tara, Arum, Align, Killgrowth and more. Same as the soul detainer, only one anti-heal equipment works, either Tome or detainer. Like only 40% of regen reduction can be triggered at once. So watch carefully before building this item. It will be waste if other titans have an anti-heal item. But for physical damage heroes, Detainer is pretty good equipment, so there will be no problem in building. One Tomah Reaper and one Detainer, so you can engage a fight when there is any one of the teammates who is equipped with anti-heal. The next is Soaring Aura with 140 ability power and 1050 max HP with a passive which reduces the magic defense of all the enemies within 800 units. It reduces a maximum of 150 magic defense. The distance is roughly the radius of Diachen's ultimate. Soaring Aura is not good for mages who typically poke from a distance. Instead, perfect for titans like Scud, Aurum and even Maganga. Basically best for titans who fight in the front lines. The Virtue's Necklace grants 160 ability power, 15% cooldown reduction and 25 mana per 5 seconds with a passive that restores 1% mana every second. Virtue's Necklace is not a very common equipment among the mages. The titans who has a very low cooldown on their abilities and has low mana regeneration can use this. Like mage supports commonly use this item. The next equipment is the Holy of Holies, the only equipment in the magic section that gives high ability power of 400 with a passive of increasing sustain in the late games, which increases your max HP by 1400. Also the costliest item in the magic section. The Holy of Holies is rather expensive and is usually found among the last items of the mage build. Due to its HP bonus, this item is common for tank titans like Grak, Scud and even Aurum can use it. This is specially best for mages who lack much in terms of HP. The Arctic Orb gives you 240 ability power with a unique passive. So when you buy this equipment, you can see a new ability button on the screen showing Arctic Orb, which when used you will be immune to all the effects for 2 seconds. During this time you can't move, attack or use your skills. After this effect ends, you will gain a shield for 1 second with a cooldown of 75 seconds. Mages who like to get into thick fights and need a breather between cooldown can make use of Arctic Orb efficiently, especially mage assassins. Also good for mages who have abilities that continue while stunned like Krixie, Tulan and Mo can continue to deal damage using Orb. Also if enemy assassins targets you, Orb can save you as the assassins only get one chance to kill you. If he misses the chance, he is dead or he will retreat. So it can make him miss that opportunity. The last equipment is Frost Guard. It is also a not very common equipment which grants you 140 ability power, 10% cooldown reduction and 150 armor with a passive that unleashes a shock wave after taking one-time damage more than 10% of your current HP as magic damage to the enemies within 3 meters and reducing their attack speed and movement speed by 30% for 2 seconds with a cooldown time of 2 seconds, which is a best equipment for dealing high AoE damage. This is also a best equipment for the titans who fight in the front lines, who can take damage and dish out a lot of damage. Also reduces the enemy's movement speed and attack speed as well. So that's all for today's video friends. If you find this video helpful, kindly hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. So see you all in the next video. Until then, bye bye and have a great day friends.